All right, everyone, welcome back. My name is Pritesh here with Kaizen Crypto, bringing you another video. So Cardano's supply chain traceability solution known as Scantrust is already being implemented by a company known as Baia's Wine. So I'm really excited to be joined by both Baia's and Andrew today, who are going to talk with us a little bit more about that. So guys, thanks so much for joining us. How are you both doing today?
Thanks for inviting us, and it's really amazing day for working in the vineyard and also sharing the idea we have with Cardano and the project. And thanks for inviting it again.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Because I've been keeping up to date with what you guys are doing, and it's interesting to learn more about it. So I just like to get a chance to hear more about what is Baia's Wine?
Yeah, so we do have the family production, and we are, me, my sister Guanza and Georgi, we are the whole team of Baia's Wine behind, and we are the fourth generation of our family who are producing wine, and feel in love with growing and making wine itself. But since 2015, we started having those winemaking as a family business, and then Andrew joined us, and we made a great team together, and we do produce wine in a really amazing traditional way, which is so called as craft winemaking, and it's our passion to continue this old tradition started in 8,000 years ago. So and at the same time, we were never wondering and even thinking about that our wines will be worldwide. But today we did it, and our wines are really shown up in the as in the local as in the international level. So yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. Behind. So it's like a family-owned business, right? Is that correct?
Yes, it is, and also we are already a lot of people here, and we all believe that winemaking and grape growing into organic way is the best idea for having the big wines into the bottle. So.
I gotcha. That's very cool. That's interesting. So it's a family-owned business, and you guys are located in the country of Georgia. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. We also are located in the west part of Georgia, which is really well known as its own terroirs and its own great varieties. And should be said that in Georgia we do have diversities of the grape varieties itself, and also this viticulture is really big and high. And at the same time, all the local terroirs and the lands are different, and you can get really amazing diversify of the winemaking itself.
That's very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the progress that you guys make with what you're doing with Cardano. I guess just kind of transitioning into that. So, seeing what you guys are doing with your wine, it's a family-owned business. You guys have come a long way with your production and, getting onto the international stage, really, where some of your bottles are being shipped all around the world. So how does Cardano's Scantrust solution benefit your company with that?
Yeah. So firstly, it's the innovation is really important in any of the sector where we see, but I would like to firstly thanks to Andrew to introduce us into the whole innovation world, and he's one who can describe best the project we start together, and yeah, thanks to him personally to give us an opportunity for that.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Andrew.
Okay. So I first met Baia and her sister Guanza and her brother Georgi at a wine fair in Tbilisi. I am an American who lives and works in Tbilisi, Georgia. Baia is located about 3 hours west of the capital, Tbilisi. But I met them in the capital city, probably in 2015, 16, somewhere in there, maybe 17. And first learned, and actually it was one of my first exposures really to this idea of organic biological wine producing. And I'm not a big wine guy, I don't know a ton about it, but I really did find the taste to be quite distinct and very interesting. And of course, I got to know the family over time. I would run into them, at different fairs and sometimes at restaurants and whatnot. And so we got closer. Then I decided to spend some time out at the farm a few years ago and just kind of learn more about this process. I had some free time on my hands, and so I just kind of went out there and just did, whatever I could do to help and really learn more about what they were doing and how it was so different than let's say, like conventional winemaking or factory wines, and what set them apart and how, what the pain points were and how the price points were different and the way that you grow everything, learned everything about it. And for me, it was very interesting. It's quite a big departure because I do a lot of work in the blockchain space. I do a lot of work in managing bank transactions and whatnot, and how that intersects with the blockchain. And so doing work in the wine world was so different, so interesting. Over time, I got closer with the family, and then I was given a chance to invest in their business, which I jumped on immediately, and which then drew us closer. I helped them with some contract negotiations and some banking and some capital deployment. Again, as I was talking earlier off camera, I don't do anything. I have zero interaction with how the wine is made, right? So I don't ever go buy or go outside and say, hey, maybe you should do this or do that. When it comes to the winemaking, this is their family business. This is, George has been making wine for more than 8,000 years. It's the oldest tradition in anywhere on the planet. The first known wine vessels were discovered in the country of Georgia. And so who am I to come in and tell them, do something different? But when it came to business, it's something I think that I could help a little bit. And through my interaction in blockchain, I became familiar with what Cardano was doing and kind of stumbled onto some projects that they had ongoing in Georgia and offered to them in a think tank session, track and trace with Baia's. The foundation got to know Baia and Guanza. We had many hours of discussion and talk about how this potentially, would work or look or how it could benefit. And when the foundation pulled the trigger, well, we were ready. We then brought in Scantrust and started talking with them, created the product, created the supply chain logistics, and it's really a dynamite, an amazing product in the world of wine that's already complicated and full of tons of friction points. And then to bring in a product that allows track and trace, meaning that you can know for sure that the product is legitimate, authentic, but also from that product to get a background on the winemakers, and then also to have all of that data be stored in Cardano metadata is really groundbreaking, and it's been a phenomenal ride. It's opened up a lot of interesting doors for myself, and chances to chat, with awesome podcasts about this, but also brought me closer to Baia's wine. So it's been really nice.
Wow. Okay. That sounds like quite the journey. So yeah, one thing I've been seeing with that, with the Scantrust solution, so you guys have a metadata solution where you're able to, I guess, put the data about these bottles of wine on the Cardano blockchain. It's embeddable with, is it an RFID chip or QR codes, or what does that actually look like from an end user standpoint?
Well, I've actually got a bottle here. Let's see if I can get it to. It's like a complex QR code, and so here's a bottle of Baia's wine. I'm not sure if that shows
look
up,
at that.
This is the KRONO. This is one of the three varietals that we chose for the Scantrust. Here is the Scantrust label,
nice.
Cardano Scantrust label here, which you'll be able to, if you just hold this up to your smartphone, it immediately pops up with an authentication tracker, full logistics with map showing when and where the bottle was bottled. Actually, it shows where the grapes came from, where it was bottled, and every step that has been ever since it's been scanned, with also a nice history of Baia's wine, Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that. It's a very clean look. Kudos on the bottle. I think that the design is amazing. I've never seen a bottle of wine like that. That's pretty cool.
Yep. This is available in this varietal will be available in a bunch of different countries, and this particular bottle, this variety with the Cardano Scantrust sticker, will be available in the U.S. When do you think, Baia? Like maybe in September, October of this year?
Yeah, kind of for September time.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is that going to be something that you implement on all of your bottles going forward?
Right now, no. But we are in ongoing discussions. We'll have it on 4,000 bottles for this year's for 2019 KRONO and 2022 other varietals. 4,000 bottles total. Possible additional 1,000 bottles, depending on how some talks go with Cardano. But we are in communication with Scantrust and with Cardano about implementing this across. This is really kind of a pilot test. So the bottles haven't yet en masse been in the hands of the consumers. And so we'll really kind of wait to see how the product is received and how it works and how it works with the importers and with the wholesalers, the retailers and the restaurants and the consumers to kind of make a decision if this, if this is makes sense for all or for specific markets or what.
Sure. Okay. Well, it's interesting that even though it is a pilot program, you guys are making so much progress with it. I guess just from a broader sense, like how does it work exactly with, production and then like cost savings so that, let's say, for instance, somebody were to, you got a bad actor out there and let's say, for instance, they decided to come up with a fake Baia's wine. Like how does that benefit your company exactly from a bottom line standpoint?
Well, this year, right when we started this project, there was Baia's wine is becoming bigger and it's becoming more well known. It's certainly it's a small, very, very small winery, but it is, you can relatively easily search it on the search engines and, there's articles being written about it, about the winery. There was a small winery that opened up not too far from Baia's. Right when we started this project, before anything was announced, before anything, I got a phone call from Baia and from her sister Guanza saying, "Hey, you're not going to believe it, but someone has opened up a company called Baia's Gifts or something like that." And they had a logo and a font that was similar to Baia's. We're not 100% sure that it was set up to be like a bad actor, but it seemed very much like it was. And as Baia's wines become more well-known, and because it's a small producer, the demand sometimes outstrips total supply. It's not completely uncommon, especially in the wine world, for someone to duplicate the label, pop it on a glass bottle, and sell it, at a say at a premium to like water or whatever cheap wine they would have in there. These things happen. They happen to much larger wineries. We don't know how often it's happened to Baia's up till now. But even this year, we had a bad actor or a potential bad actor, step onto the stage, with the idea of possibly intercepting the brand that Baia and her family have worked so hard to create, to bring to market a forged or a non-legitimate product. When you scan the Cardano Scantrust label, you immediately on your phone, you see if the product is authentic or not. Maintaining that brand, especially at this particular stage of the winery, is critical with regards to getting to the next level. Having a batch of, let's say, 100 wines that would be forged and then taken to market and being not of the same taste or worse, being, let's say, like a chemical or something that causes some harm, that would be detrimental to the brand. Absolutely detrimental. The kind of PR that we don't want. So having a solution like this is actually very, very important for small brands as they start to build loyalty.
Most definitely. And I would say also small and large brands. I think it's interesting what Baia's Wine is doing. But if you think about on a global scale too, like the amount of counterfeit goods that are out there, right? I mean, Louis Vuitton, you've got Rolex, Gucci, like all these types of luxury name brand items. They're all counterfeited to a point where, you know, it definitely does cut into the brand recognition. You got to be very careful if you're going to buy, say, a Rolex. You know, how do you tell if that's actually a real Rolex? So I think, you know, from a concept standpoint, this is something that's really important for, you know, authentication for supply chains and what you guys are doing with the QR codes. And, you know, you just scan it on your phone. I mean, it's a very, I think from an end user standpoint, it's a very practical way to be able to verify if it's actually legitimate. So it's cool. I really like the concept. I like the idea. And, you know, seeing the progress that you guys are making on it, it's pretty cool. How is the relationship going with the Cardano Foundation?
Yeah. So like at the same time, what Andrew was talking about, like I would like to add that we already feel a huge value with that. And first of all, as I say, is that like farming and winemaking is kind of like for us as a winemakers, it's like the best like space to work and best like also place to work. But when you add like kind of innovation in that, and when you see that in the future it will be mentioned, there's not like only farmers or winemakers, but also like the like a place where you also put innovation in it. And as we see that the whole world is really changing, and there are like winemakers and wine lovers' age are getting lower and lower. So like if like 10 or 15 years ago, wine was only to drink for like different age. Now you can see that even like students and youngs, like people who can who are allowed to drink, they are enjoying with a glass of wine with their friends, and it's like it's the common tradition, and it's also like becoming really trendy in the whole world. And yeah, it's like amazing when you see the huge value and when you receive a lot of emails through that, and people are from around the world are writing that those cooperation and those innovation is really amazing news for them. And yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, you know, it's always nice to get recognition from people who use your product. You know, they see the time and the love that you put into it, and they want to support you. So it's always a very nice experience to have those moments.
thank you.
Awesome. So, guys, as far as what's next with the pilot program with Scantrust, I mean, as far as any goals that you guys have for, you know, how you're implementing it into your business, where would you say that this solution would be able to, you know, benefit your business in the next year or maybe even 5 years?
Well, Cardano, as Baia mentioned, has already opened up some international markets. We've had Cardano supporters from regions that Baia has not currently shipped to eagerly reach out, you know, for that. I think Iceland is one, right, Baia?
Yep.
And a few other countries that, and when some of the countries that currently import Baia's wines caught wind of this particular program, because it is quite revolutionary in the winemaking world to be able to have the small producer touch and communicate full cycle with the consumer. Let's face it, when a lot of people go into a wine store, myself included, they don't know actually what they're doing or what they're looking for, or like really anything. And we really look at price and how the bottle is designed, and maybe you know, ask someone at the store or look online. Being able to scan it right there and say, hey, you want some information about this winery? Boom, scan it. That is really revolutionary because the full information comes out. So in this year alone, we've seen importers increase the total amount that they normally import because of this particular product. We have seen Cardano users and supporters actively open or look to open new markets. So we think that the Cardano impact on this year is absolutely definite. I mean, it's tangible. We can see the number of bottles that are being ordered have gone up. And this is just the beginning, right? How that's going to impact us going forward, of course, we don't know. I think the product is dynamite. I think the story that the girls have is absolutely fantastic. The wine is super unique in taste and structure, and history. So our hope is that many more people want these wines. We're committed to offering them at the same prices, so we're not upping the prices of. We want to sell it. We want these wines to be in the hands of more people, and we're very, very excited about what's happening, with Cardano. Just before this awesome opportunity, I was on a conversation with the Cardano Foundation about a new project, possibly with Baia's wine, and so I'm not really sure I can say a lot about it, but there's some really interesting, cool things happening with Cardano that are even outside of this particular project that opens up a whole new opportunity, for Baia and for family. So we're kind of excited about that. Hopefully we can release some more details pretty soon. I think it's likely that we will. It was a very, very good call. So the impact of Cardano has been absolutely fantastic, spectacular.
That's amazing. That's really cool to hear. So I guess on a bit of a side note, still talking about wine, just trying to learn more about it. I'm not as knowledgeable about wine. So, just kind of curious, I've got a question for you, Baia. You have all these different names, right? You've got like Chardonnay, there's Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, like all this kind of stuff. Like, what is the difference in the winemaking process that gets you these different variations of wine?
Yeah. So what me and my sister and brother are making really proud is that while we are traveling in the winemaking world, we always see that those varieties like Chardonnay and Pinot Noir are kind of same in the New Zealand or even in California or in other places. But whereas unique for Georgia is that we do have really high diversification of that. And for example, we do grow from the white varieties. As Andrew already are showing, the variety of KRONO, variety of Tsitska, and also Tsolik Ori. And in the other case, we do have this Otshanori Sapere and Alas red varietals. And what makes us really happy is that at the same time we do have this local indigenous grape varieties, but at the same time we do have also different winemaking techniques, which is connected to our ancestors a lot. And for example, if we drink the glass of wine from out of Georgia, you can always get these non-skin contact wines. So in case of whites, but here we do use still the spontan fermentation with adding the grape skins, and those skin contact maceration is really old and came from our ancestors, and they try to study how to stabilize this fermentation process with the grape skins, because the whole yeast is located on the skin level or from the outside, and all the year you can get different tastes and aromas, because of the weather changing and because of the climate and the place itself. So every year we do have this really beautiful natural tastes out of the wine cellar, and you when you drink the glass of wine, you can truly go to this terroir and to the place where the grape came from. So and what we try to use is that of course we have this traditional knowledge from our whole family how to make wine in the skin contact level, but at the same time my sister tried and did the best to study agricultural studies in the master level, and she was also in many places including Germany to see how the organic grape going on, because when you have healthy and good grapes you can make big wines out of that, but when you have not quality product and you are not available, and as a organic winemakers you are not having a lot of tools to make wine from anything. Like you will really have, and you really need to have this healthy and good quality of the grapes. And at the same time, my brother Georgi just finished viticulture and winemaking studies at the university. So we try to combine this modernized knowledge with this traditional base we have. And we do try to like plant and experiment a lot together, and like to follow the way we had like in our family. But as we have some, of course, we have some fails, but those wines are always staying here and not going to the bottles, and we are always like responsible for any bottles we are producing and we are selling from here.
Baia, maybe you want to talk about this, how the wines are actually fermented.
Yeah. So like on the left, the winemaking pot, which is called as kvevri, and this is the clay pot which is buried in the underground. And our ancestors were making the first wines really a long times ago into the ground. And what we really love is that the grapes came from the ground, and the wine goes back to the earth. So it's kind of non-stopping process and round process around the world and around our nature. That's why we really admire to grow wines and grapes into the organic way. And what I was saying is that we do make the white wine with the grape skin contact. So while we crush the grapes and those crushing grapes and juice goes together, and they ferment together, and this natural yeast really helping the whole fermentation process to go on. But at the same time, while those clay pots are buried in the ground, you have really great stabilization of the temperature inside. So the nature is really helping us to stabilize the fermentation and to have the really nice aromas after that, because the first 12 days is really important. And if you will have high temperature and if you will have really quick fermentation process, you will lose a lot, and you will lose almost all the wine with the only alcohol taste and some like not the diversification in the end. So and then we because our terroirs are different and because our lands are a little bit different and humidity is here really higher, we get lower sugar into the grape, and our wines are having fine acidity in the end and really nice yellow fruit aromas and like taste like that. But we should really send Andrew the bottle of our KRONO to our friends. So yeah, then we can taste all together.
Pritesh, where are you?
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Are you in the U.S.?
Yes, I'm in the U.S. You know, it's funny. I live in the state of Georgia. So if I ever get a chance to make it to the country, if I ever go to the country of Georgia, I know where I'm going. Well, that's very cool. You know, just the amount of love and passion that you guys put into the process of making the wines. It's like, that's how you know you really have a high quality product. So, you know, it's interesting to hear the amount of work that actually goes in behind the scenes to create a bottle of wine.
It is so difficult. That was a big eye-opening for me. Is, you know, this bottle of wine is actually enjoyed in some fantastic restaurants in New York and in DC and Chicago. I have to check about Georgia, but for sure there's people in the state of Georgia that have had this wine. And you think about it, that bottle in like this nice restaurant or nice bottle store, and then you look at how difficult it was to get that juice into that bottle, and every single step from lovingly caring for the flowering buds to preparing the vines to not using any fertilizers or any artificial anything that's bad. Everything's natural and organic. To crushing, to painstakingly caring for that juice to make sure it doesn't go bad. Watching the fermentation, and it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, believe me.
But Andrew is with us all the harvest and all the time, and we are really thinking that he feels.
I hope she's not saying that I work hard, because that's not.
Yeah.
Oh, Baia, we lost you a little bit.
Yeah. Do you hear me now?
Yeah. Did you hear her?
Uh-huh. Yep, I can hear her.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe it's me.
Oh, thank you.
Baia, were you about to say something?
Yeah, so like he's one who always fell in love with baking this process. So Andrew is one who is always with us with this harvest time and other process starting from pruning. So yeah, we are waiting for him in one day, and yeah, he's really hardworking one and helper as well.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, you guys are making some amazing progress there. So it's very cool to hear how you guys are implementing this Scantrust solution with what you're putting out there, and hoping that does definitely benefit your business in the future, and other businesses are able to see what you're doing with your pilot program and hopefully able to adopt some type of similar solution. So I think it's very interesting what you guys are trying to do.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it looks like Andrew cut out there for just a moment, but Baia, I just wanted to go ahead and ask, where should people go to find out more about Baia's wine? How can they support your business and what you all are trying to do?
Yeah, so actually, as I said, like Andrew is really helping us to innovate and to to help us the whole world for those social media or so those other tools, which is really important for all the production. And just now he just made an amazing website for us, and it's it's really beautiful when I even go there and see our website and how well done it is. And as winemakers and grape growers, it's sometimes really impossible to sit down in front of the computer and just do everything, which is really important. But he has really amazing team who is always helping us a lot and understanding us a lot. And at the same time, like what we really love is that as we are three in the family and as we have also Andrew with us, we really see that our future is about the growing and about the sustainable growing itself. And we had a lot of talk about how to, let's say, make our farming and make our winemaking in this sustainable way of production. So then Andrew find out a lot of ways for that, and one of the ways is our cooperation and our project with Cardano, and there are a few more, and there are also a huge commitment behind that to do and to see the future of the projects together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Definitely going to be following your progress with Baia's wine very closely, just to see the progress that you guys make. So Andrew, Baia, it was a pleasure. Thank you both so much for coming on to talk with us more about Baia's wine and the Scantrust solution with Cardano. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.